Good evening and welcome to the first edition of the Anil Kapoor Excellence in Partnership Award. We lost Anil last year, but we don't want to lose some of his beliefs that have built our agency over the last few decades. Building true partnerships with our clients was Anil's strongest belief. And with a view to institutionalize this belief in our agency, we've introduced the Anil Kapoor Excellence in Partnership Award. This award seeks to recognize and reward people in our agency whose work best represents partnership excellence. And we had a fair number of entries this year. We are privileged to have with us Mr. Kapoor's wife, Mrs. Rita Kapoor, and his much celebrated son, Ram Kapoor. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's an honor to be here.
And also on this call are 4 people who've partnered Anil in building the FCB Ulka group into an organization we're all truly proud of today. Shashi Sinha, Ambi Parmeshwaran, Arvind Wable, and Nitin Bhagwat. Welcome, gentlemen, to this award ceremony. Mr. R.S. Sodhi, MD of Amul, is with us as well today. Welcome, Sodhi Saab. Our relationship with Amul is the best example we have of excellence in partnership. Thank you for joining us, and we're eager to hear from you a bit later. What we'd like to do now is to play a short AV on the life of Mr. Anil Kapoor, celebrating, a man who was a giant in the industry. So Vivek, will you please play the AV?
We are going to switch off the cameras for everyone.
So thank you very much. Have a great time. You guys have made the company. It's our culture. Keep this culture going. If you have fun and you enjoy working yourself, the business will follow.
I lived my career on 3 simple tenets. 1, follow your passion. Everything else will follow passionately. I believed in the power of advertising, and I strongly believed that advertising agencies were solution providers and not suppliers of creative. The second, stand up for your convictions. My commitment to my clients was total. I treated their businesses as my own. Third, invest in the right people. I believe that one should always hire people larger than oneself. Only then will you have an organization of giants.
Thank you, Vivek. I'd like to now invite, Arvind, Ambi, Shashi, and Nitin to really talk about their experience on, stories of excellence and partnership with Anil and the years that they worked with him. My interaction with Anil was very brief, but I must say in the brief interaction that I had with him, he left a deep impression on me. And all the four of you have worked with him for a long time, so we're really interested in hearing some really interesting insights and stories about Anil and his passion for partnership. So over to you, Shashi. You want to kick off?
Yeah. So, well, my favorite story, unfortunately, I cannot speak because my client is here. So I think Mr. Sodhi will talk about the passion and Anil got Mr. Sodhi seen it live, to counsel a giant like Dr. Korean, who, and I have many stories to tell, where Anil, Dr. Korean is very fond of him, and Sodhi probably will narrate that. But Dr. Korean didn't suffer fools very easily, and Dr. Korean, because boss, as we called him, boss had a way, while he was extremely respectful, but he would still, what you heard us say on the video, that total commitment to my clients, and I saw their business my own. So he would say he would make a lot of suggestions to them where, which would sound very scary to us. And we would be under the table because we thought, Dr. Korean saying all this and getting away, but only boss could get away with that. And Dr. Korean would have an indulgent smile. Most of the times he said yes to what boss said. He agreed, but even a few times when he didn't, he would just tap his fingers indulgently and look away, and the polite way of saying, okay, now that's it. But that happened very far in between. So I thought that is one. I can tell you of many clients where we used to go first time. He would meet people. I remember Godrej, first time we met my friend Anil Verma. When we had just come on board in '88, and he said, wow, this man speaks so passionately, but at the same time it's so aggressive, he must be losing a lot of clients. And then they went on to become great friends, so in the beginning it would be very rough, but they would go on absolutely. And this whole thing of, since a lot of people from our company are listening, I want to say, when he said solution providers is not only about advertising. He would speak on everything. In fact, advertising would be last. He would speak on pricing, he would speak on promotion, he would speak on organization structures. I remember when we were presenting to Z, and I think Nitin was there, he'll remember, our pitch presentation was nothing about pitch. It was all about how Z should organize themselves. And we were presenting, I was presenting, and I was trembling. I said, listen, this is not possible, and then Subhashji, the chairman of Z, heard him. And everyone was stunned. He said, what is this happening? There's no creative, there's no strategy, nothing. It's all about how Z should organize themselves and how Z should run. I have many stories to tell, so I don't know how, unfortunately, many others. I can go on and on. Air India, Nitin Bhagwat will remember, when we were in anxiety, trying to show creative because we were talking about showing strategy. And we were in a hurry because we would advertising people, so Mr. Bhagwat, and we were trying to show creative. He got fed up with us, and the chairman mandate of Air India, he says, हाँ दिखाओ, ये साड़ी खरीदना है, इनको दिखाओ, लाल वाली दिखाओ, लाल नहीं पसंद आती, हरी दिखाओ. So there was stunned silence in that boardroom, so in the middle of a pitch. And the thing is, all these pitches we won. Z we won, Air India we won. So I can go on. There's so many interesting stories. Probably some of them will find their way in Arvind's book. So that's for me.
Thanks, Shashi. Ambi, would you like to share some stories now?
Well, I have a lot of stories to tell because I know him amongst all of you, probably I know him the longest, other than, of course, Arvind, because I started working with him as a young brand manager at Boots. I remember Ram as a young kid. I have many, many stories to tell. So let me share 3 interesting ones. We were getting this big account called Lever Johnson. I'm going to continue the Sashiwala theme. And Ben Barnes had come down from Hong Kong and he took us to Pune for the first meeting with the client. The client, John Blaharsky, his marketing head, Gopalakrishnan, yours truly, Anil, and Ben Barnes are having lunch. I forget, I think it was Blue Diamond. And then Anil, we have not even got the account, right? And it's supposed to be a global account. That time with Mudra, may come to us, may not come to us. And Anil starts asking John Blaharsky, why do you need a tie-up with Levers? So John Blaharsky was kind of saying, what do you mean? So he says, you are going to be selling mosquito repellents and air fresheners. You need a sales team of 60 people. Probably you need to cover 20 cities. And Ambi and we set up a sales force in Boots. It can be done in 3 months' time. What do you need levers for? The MD was almost dying of shock, and his head of marketing, interestingly, had been transferred from levers. He almost choked in his soup, and Ben Barnes was kicking, Anil desperately under the table. And Anil I had to tell him, boss, hold it, boss. Boss, they have done the tie-up with levers. And finally, we worked with the account and it was a disaster. The company didn't go anywhere. The interesting thing is, when Gopal Krishna was head of marketing, had got a job in S.C. Johnson, Racine, when he was leaving, he met me for lunch. This was 4 years after that very interesting lunch at Blue Diamond. He met me for lunch at Oberoi. And he said, "Yaar, Ambi, that day when you and Anil came and Anil went after us asking us, why did you tie up with levers? I was wondering what's wrong with this man. But we should have listened to him then, because what he said was right. We did not need levers. We needed our own small field force. We would have been better off. This company is not going to go anywhere. It's going to shut down." As truth be told, Lever Johnson shut down a year later. And later they came back as 100, but they went and bought all out and came in. That's a different story. Interesting thing is, Anil had a belief he will talk. He will give it, without mincing words. And I've seen that happen then. And of course, I've got many stories. I should tell this Ravish Avasthi story. And he was telling me this, I think after his 3rd or 4th meeting with Anil. And he said, "Yaar, Ambi, when I first time saw him walking in, big well-built guy with red suspenders. And we said, yaar, ye kya humko sikhayega?" But how wrong I was. After the 3rd or 4th meeting, we realized that, the red suspender man should be respected, a lot more than just for his red suspender. And I can go on here. Let me hand over to the next person who's chosen to speak. So thank you.
Thanks, Angvi. Arvind, over to you now. Arvind, you're on mute.
Well, I've known Anil as he was Anil Bhai to me, which is off, when not in office, otherwise he was boss, ever since I was a kid. So it's been a learning experience, because every experience with him was a learning experience. And the more formalized ones in Ulka were called Patshalas, which could stretch from, they all normally started at 6 in the evening and would carry on to midnight. Okay, so these Patshalas I've had all my life, and I've just learned so much from him. So,
just to interject, sorry, Arvind, sometimes the Patshala used to end at the Kailash, what is that place? That Vada Pav place.
Vada Pav place, yes. That was the only place open at that
time. And Arvind, I was not told this, but Shashi, in his wisdom, just kept quiet because Anil called me for one such Patshala. I didn't know it was the Patshala. So we finished in the wee hours of the morning,
Yes, that's right. So anyway, so this partnership, and he talked about passion, and let me, before I give you 1 or 2 anecdotes, I mean, all of us have anecdotes. There are no experiences with Anil which are not anecdotal. And, I've been trying to write this book on Ulka culture, which sometime I hope I'll finish, which is going to be full of that. But, I was looking at it today, and there are 3-4 things used to always drill into everyone in the organization, not just us, but everyone. And the one thing I remember him saying very clearly was integrity of advice. Never bullshit a client. Okay. And he used to be so upset if anyone went overboard about the kind of advice you gave clients. The other thing was transparency. Okay. And so he was passionate about so many of these things. The story I have is that like all of us have two wonderful stories. One was we got, and this is about culture, so which is why it comes to mind. We had got the Whirlpool business, more or less got the Whirlpool business in Delhi. And so Garrick De Silva, the managing director, Maurice Kumar, who was the marketing director, and I, and Anil went out for a drink at the Hyatt, I still remember, at the bar. We sat down and started talking. And suddenly, Garrick De Silva talks about his view of how you get the best out of people. And he turned around and said, I believe keeping people at the edge of their seats is the best way to get the best out of people. Oh boy, should have seen the look on Anil's face. And we hadn't still signed the business. And Anil said, Garrick, I totally disagree with you. Because I believe making people comfortable and secure is the best way to get the best out of people. I looked at Maurice, she looked at me. I thought, this is it. This is not going to work. But so then boss like you, difficult to stop the man. It's a big train which started moving and it's difficult to stop. So it took a couple of minutes for me to get him off the culture story. But that, the kind of respect he got from both Garrick and Maurice, which she told me later, created a lasting relationship that lasted more than 2 decades. Okay, so like Ambi and Shashi have said, the other story is it's a phenomenal story, and like the typical, these always happened on pitches, where the huge pitch of a client, and I'll name the client later, and I'm sure all of you will guess. And after a long process, we had finally got the business. Then we were told, sorry, there's a new marketing director joining, you have to present to him. So we went and presented to him. This was in Delhi. And this was the same presentation that I was making for the 6th time because so many people had seen it. When I got into my first slide, Anil started speaking. And then he spoke what I was going to say in my presentation for the next 20 minutes. So, and then he looked at me and said, Acha, start. So I turned around saying, boss, you've already made the presentation. So the client said, I've got the point of view. I think I'm okay. Thank you so much. And that relationship, I think, is probably one of ours and Anil's closest relationship. And that was with Mr. Ravikant. This was at LML. So, the fact that he would speak his mind and the fact he had passion in what he's talked about is what I think was the integrity of advice he used to talk about. And people appreciated that. So I'll leave it at that. As I said, it's an unending saga when you talk about Anil. And but I'll hand it over back to you, Rohit, to take it on.
Thanks, Arvind. And we're looking forward to your book. That's surely going to be a very, very interesting read. So, Nitin, would you want to kind of just share some of your experiences?
Yeah. I mean, we had just about got the Scorpio account and it wasn't in the bag. So the normal thing would be to be polite and nice to the client and thank him for the client. We went into the meeting and the CEO of the company, Alan, at that point in time, was waxing eloquent about how it is a premium, expensive product, which is when Anil decided that he needed to pulverize everybody in the room. And Anil had a unique style. He would never attack the CEO. He would attack the number 2. But the CEO would get the message that politely Anil was telling him, don't be an idiot. And Anil, in a sense, rammed it home saying that you're an Indian product and you have to price accordingly. And he actually dictated the pricing for Scorpio. And in a sense, that has become the template for pricing for a lot of automotive companies. So he was outspoken, he was relentless in getting Anand Mahindra to agree, okay, in terms of how to build a strategy. Cut to 3 or 4 years later, the company is more confident. One of their CEOs now decides that he wants a second agency. So they call a second agency in, they appoint them. I talk to Anil, what should we do? Anil says, it's your problem. And he dispatches me to meet Anand Mahindra. So I go and meet Anand. I said, Anand, what can be done? So Anand tells me with a straight face that Nitin, it's a federal structure. I can't dictate terms to them. But let me tell you something that I like about you and about Anil. I said, what is that? He says that, the two of you and your agency are different from other agencies. I said, how is that? He said, other agencies go on weekends to Alibag or on their holidays and switch off your phones. But I know that you guys are thinking about my business all the time, and which is why we work with you. So in a sense, partnership, that the way Anand expressed it to me was that this agency is 24/7 thinking about the business and how to grow the business. Okay, I came out feeling good, even though I hadn't convinced Anand, but it all fell in place. Okay, that the business came back to us. And the third anecdote, which is cut forward to December 21. Joe and his team approached the CEO of Mahindra with a proposal to invest in an agri-tourism company. Now, you would wonder, what has agri-tourism got to do with farm sector? But the CEO got excited. He roped in Club Mahindra. Now, the truth of the matter, and Joe and his team knew that as an agency, we have no business getting into M&As. Okay? And the possibility of getting advertising business out of it is also slim. But the truth is, this is one more demonstration that the agency is thinking about the client 360 degrees. So, Ram, Rita, okay, Anil's spirit and the culture that he created of partnership, even today is alive and kicking. And when I heard about this, it just made me feel good that Anil is alive for all of us even today. Over to you, Rohit.
Thank you so much, Nitin. That was really beautiful. And I would also like to welcome Jain Bhai. I can see he's in the meeting. Welcome, Jain Bhai. Thank you for joining us. Savita, should we move to the awards now?
Yeah. So before we move,
over to you, Nitin.
We have Mrs. Kapoor, Rita Kapoor, and Ram here. So before we request Rita to open the envelope and pick the winner, Rita, I want you to say and then Ram to say a few words on you saw from the other side Anil's passion for Ulka. So it'll be nice if we hear from both of you on how you saw him being passionate about the agency.
Hi, Shashi.
Yeah.
Hi, Shashi. Hi, everybody. It's wonderful to be here. I'm hearing wonderful stories from all of you, but I know what Ulka meant to him, what advertising meant to him. When I married him, he was briefly for MCM. And just when he fell in love with the advertising business, MCM closed down. And then he joined Boots Pharmaceutical, and he used to be kicked about launching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 products like Colderain, Strepsil, Brufen and all. But eventually Bal Munkar got him back into Ulka and inducted the passion back in his life for advertising. And with Ulka, he was like a kid in a candy store with so many products of so many clients. And I personally witnessed to many senior industry heads telling him in my presence, we want your personal involvement in this campaign. I have seen that, and he could not be there everywhere. But what he has done for Ulka, he always felt that this is a synergy between him and his team. And I would like to thank Ulka because he had this deadly disease in 2011, but his 22 years of stay in Ulka gave him the high gave him the achievement process, gave him a passion-driven love for work, and he died a satisfied man on his work front. Thank you, Ulka.
Thank you very much, Rita. Ram, could we hear something from you?
Yes. So all of you have given some lovely accounts of how Dad was at work. I would like to just share what all of you meant to him. And I found that out at a very young age in a very funny way. I was a teenager. I was about 15 years old, 16 years old. I don't remember. I was in Kodaikanal International School. And Dad came and visited me over a holiday. I used to have a cycle that had no brakes. And Dad decided to get onto that cycle without finding out that it had no brakes. And he went down the mountainside at the speed of about 200 miles per hour. And he went headlong into a wall. He had stitches on his head. He broke his wrist. He broke his ankle. And while we were carrying him to the hospital, the only thing he's saying to people and to everybody was, I have to get back to work. I have to get back to work. When the doctors stitched him up and were fixing up his plasters, he was begging, I have to go back. I have to go back. Finally, the head of the hospital and the main doctor came into the room, gave him the yelling of a lifetime, saying, you are very serious to be alive. Your head could have split open. You are in bad shape and you have to knock this off. You have to be here for a few weeks, maybe even a few months. And then I heard Dad plead with the doctors saying, listen, you have to understand something. These guys are not my work. These guys are my family. And you cannot keep me away from my family. You want to keep me away from my work, that's fine. But I have to be a part of it every day. You fix me up in such a way that from right here, I can conduct all my business. Otherwise, they cannot survive. And then for 3 weeks, with his hand up in a cast like this, hanging over his head and his ankle up, I've seen him for 6 hours on a phone call with all of y'all conducting his work to normal. And when we used to try and tell him, Dad, take a break, he used to say, you don't understand, I can't. This is like my oxygen. If I don't have these people and if I don't work, I have no reason to live. That is when I realized exactly what you guys meant to him. You guys were his first family. We were his second family. And today, wherever he is, if he's seeing what you guys have done for him in this entire process, I'm sure he's smiling. So thank you, guys. Thank you deeply.
Thank you. Now, may we request Mrs. Kapoor, Rita, to open the envelope and announce the name of our first inaugural winner for the Anil Kapoor Awards for Collaboration.
Yes, with pleasure, with pleasure. The winner of the Anil Kapoor Award for Excellence in Partnership for 2022 is Ritu Upadhyay of Lodestar for her partnership with Amul. Congratulations, Ritu.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's terrific news, Ritu. Ritu.
Congratulations, Ritu.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Very well deserved.
Hooray.
Ritu, we need to hear from you.
Yes, sir. I'm actually quite.
Miss what जैसे करो ना हो.
Thank you so much. I'm actually quite speechless right now, and to be felicitated and recognized by such a distinguished jury. A big thank you to all the sharks in the tank. It's been a pleasure listening to each one of you, and truly an honor to be considered worthy of such a prestigious and meritorious award. Kapoor, you see, so many stories have been happening in the last few minutes over here. Some of us have not really had the privilege to work with him or see him in action, but there is so much that we've heard as we've grown up in this organization about his grit and determination, about his passion to deliver excellence to his clients, the fact that he had friends in you see, so it's an honor to be receiving this award. I think it's quite evident that the close on the organization as well, because we see that some of our partnerships go along in the organization. So it's great to be part of this award and to be receiving it. As cliched as it sounds, there have been people who've been instrumental in helping not just me, but a lot of others climb the ropes in this organization. Mr. Shashi Sinha, sir, a pillar of strength. Thank you for teaching us. आपको देख के ही बहुत कुछ सीखा, sir. So it's been a pleasure working with you, and thank you for guiding and being there all the time. Big thank you to you, sir.
4:35 है मेरा.
Mr. Karkare, sir, आपको मैं क्या बोलूं? The other day, partnerships is something that we've seen you breathe and deliver every single day. So thank you for the mentorship. Thank you for all the guidance. Thank you, sir. Nandini, thank you for pushing me hard. Thank you for always showing the way. And I truly value that guidance. So thank you so much for all of that. And most of all, our much loved Sobi sir, MD sir, thank you for trusting us. Thank you for entrusting us with the brand, and hope that we make you proud every single day. And your guidance is always required. Jain bhai, hearty congratulations to you. And you are that one beacon of light who has shown us the way. Some of the media decisions that we take today are thanks to your sharp acumen and the fact that you believe that some of this will be possible. So hope that we continue to make you proud, and really heartening today. It's a huge honor to be receiving the Anil Kapoor Award for Excellence in Partnership. Thank you so much to everybody. Thank you.
Great show, Ritu. Now, may I request our client, well-wisher, and probably one of our longest relationships in the company at this point in time, Shri R.S. Sodhi, to say a few words on his interaction with Shri Kapoor and to felicitate Ritu. Sir, Sodhi sir, over to you.
Sodhi sir, you're on mute.
Thank you, Shashi ji. And first of all, congratulations, Ritu, for getting the first Anil Kapoor Award in Excellence. Well, Adarniya, respected Mrs. Rita Kapoor ji, Ram Kapoor ji, Shashi, Nandini, Nitin, Ambi, Arvind, रोहित जी, नितिन एंड सविता, मेरे स्क्रीन पे इतने ही लोग दिख रहे हैं. But I can see 164 must be young FCB Ulka family members who are joined today to get inspired by listening about Shri Anil Kapoor and the achievements of Ritu, why she has got it, and actually they can learn a lot. First, I'll talk about Shri Anil Kapoor ji. Let me tell you, Amul's relationship with the FCB Ulka, at that time Ulka started in 1986, and we know the story. Dr. Varghese Kurian, right from day one, believed and trusted professionals more. And that is why in his value system, excellence means the best professional you hire for anything. And that is why day one, we had got the best agency in 1986 when we were competing against Nestle's every day. And we were looking for a very creative, good agency. And then he walked into, uninvited into FCB Ulka office and had chat. And then Shri Anil Kapoor got the account of Amulya. Actually, मेरे जो दर्शन अनिल कपूर जी के सबसे पहले मैंने किए वो 1993 से स्टार्ट हुए. मैंने शिफ्टेड फ्रॉम फील्ड टू दी हेड ऑफिस एंड दैट आल्सो यूजुअली ड्यूरिंग annual advertising meeting plans with Dr. Varghese Kurian in Shastri boardroom. And actually, before going to Shastri boardroom, Anil Kapoor ji and that whole team, Shashi Sinha, Nitin, they used to come to our office, and then he used to chat with everybody. हम तो बहुत junior आदमी थे, but he was able to adjust and learn before going to a meeting and picking up few points. When I saw him first, मैंने कहा अरे यार ये तो बहुत बच्चा जैसा CEO है. चेहरा, he had a very childlike, innocent looking guy. And when he used to, and well prepared, he'll talk to everybody in our marketing team, his team, so that he can answer all the questions of Dr. Varghese Kurian. But I have seen in any meeting with Dr. Kurian, I mean, in my college day language, Dr. Kurian was always ragging him, asking all sorts of questions, like to a student, but he was in very innocent face, making all the answer very coolly. And even if he has made certain mistakes, he'll try to hide it. I mean, I think Shashi will remember in one annual report, that design when Shri Anil Kapoor presented, and Dr. Oka said, Anil, do you see any mistake in it? And everybody said no. And you know, on that main cover, there's a plate and a knife and a fork. A knife should be right side, a fork should be left side. It was other way around. So that Dr. Kurian pointed. And also I remember, I think आपको याद होगा, एक बार annual brand presentation थे, और आपके colleague forgot missed the flight.
वो भी इस कॉल पर है सर, वो भी सुन रहा है वर्मा.
And you can imagine making annual brand presentation to the chairman of Amul without creative. And he could make better presentation. I mean, he visualized everything with the hands and mouth. So that was the, khubi of a person. Okay. Mrs. Rita Kapoor may not remember. I'll tell you one incident where you were also involved. You see, our MD that time, Shri B.M. Vyas, forced Shri B.M. Vyas, forced Shri B.M. Vyas to get admitted to naturopathy center at Anand to lose weight. And you can see his face, a fish out of water. And I have the personal experience when after completion of this, he was boarding flight from Baroda to Bombay. I happened to be there at the Baroda airport. We traveled from Anand to there, and I saw wo purane type ki pani ki bottle mein he had the spices, the colored water of jaggery, ginger, and all. He said, I can drink only this much. And then when we landed at Bombay airport, Mrs. Rita Kapoor was there. Okay. And I know why she was there. I'll tell you later on. And then naturally, Mr. Kapoor asked me, where are you? I said, I'm going to my Kalagoda office. Okay, I'll give you a lift. So I said, okay. And that was, let me answer, but that was the first time in my life I traveled in a Mercedes car. And you know, after coming back to Anand, what I told my wife, I said, look here. When I go on tour, you don't even come out of home to receive me. Here you see a CEO of a wife coming all the way that to in Bombay airport to receive him. I didn't tell him that Mrs. Kapoor came to just see how much he has reduced.
Very true, very true.
Okay, now let us come to the, today's winner. Ritu, whenever we see Ritu face, we see hundreds of slides presentation. Acha, and I try to, any of our presentations, I try to meditate, I can focus. Because lots of data, long thing, but always very useful, lot of learning. Ritu started, I think, as with the Amul for the, in 2004. And when we were, number of channels are growing, number of publications are growing, and she was instrumental in growing our reach in it. देखिए आपको मैं एक और बताऊं, people know media planner, media strategist, people call all those names, a role of. Some people say media planner are basically when you want to burn the money. कोई अच्छे मीडिया प्लान करो, आपका एक ही दिन में 20 करोड़ खर्चा करवा देगा. ठीक है? But let me tell you, for a brand like Amul, media planner or media strategy's importance is utmost. Reason is our advertising budget is less than 1%, and we want to get the reach and top of the mind brand recall of more than 10% of our competitors. And that is what Ritu or the Lodestar or Shashi Sinha have been doing. I mean, we are spending less than 1%, but you can imagine in the COVID, we could get the reach 100x by getting the Ramayana and Bharat 1/10 of rate with 10x of what you got TRP. So a lot of innovation which Ritu has done for us, right from our starting with our most famous butter topical from hoarding to the press, then strip ad. And then I think the best thing was when during COVID, the first week of March, when Shashi was there, Nitin was there, and when we were talking that COVID is coming, what to do. And that time she suggested what happened in 2004 at the time of SARS in Taiwan, when people stopped advertising. So she recommended we increase. So we doubled our advertising spend with 1+1 or 1+2 scheme. So you can imagine how much with the same money, 4 to 6x benefit we go. So overall, I think Ritu most deserved it, because as far as Amul concerned, and she has been utilizing hard-earned money of farmers in a very, very judicious way. जिसको कहते हैं ना कि एक गुजराती गृहिणी की तरह खर्चा करती है हमारा पैसे का. So with these all words, I congratulate you and also the jury for making such a right selection on the first award. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this episode. Very many thanks for the lovely words. Savita, may I request you to show, Ritu must be wondering, we have announced the winner, but we have not shown her what she's going to get as a trophy or some cash awards. So would you want to brief everyone? You want to showcase this on this video? You're on mute, Savita.
Yes. So I'm going to show everybody the trophy that Ritu will be receiving shortly. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
Yeah. That's the trophy. There's a cash award, check of 2.5 lakhs. 0.5 lakhs will go into your account. And that's a little certificate for her to keep. Is everybody seeing that?
Yes, yes. Very good.
Many congratulations, Ritu. This will be on your desk very shortly.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Ritu.
Thank you. Thank you. Fan moment, Ram. I would have taken a picture with you.
You could make up, when COVID goes away, then we will get Ram to come to office.
And we don't have time, but I would love to. If there was, I would relate an instance about Ram and Anil, which is.
You must do it.
We have time. We have time.
Okay. No, this is typical when you finish. When I used to come to Bombay, and at the end of the evening, we used to all go out for dinner.
Chacha, then, you want me to tell everyone how you scared me about alligators under my bed?
No.
Would you like me to? I have scars to prove it. Medical scars. This man has tormented me as a child. He should be taken up and put to jail.
No, there's someone else. I'm going to tell the story along with the other person who was my co-collaborator in this, as you know, which is your dear mother's brother.
Anyway. Yes.
So I was, typical at the end of dinner, Anil would insist to drop me back to the hotel, which is normally the Oberoi's, because it was right across from Ulka. And, so 11:30, 12 at night, and, we would go back. And then, I would have half my foot out saying, okay, see you, good night. And then he said, hey, 2 minutes, yeah. And then before I realized that half a foot out of the car used to be for the next 2 hours, because I used to spend till 2 o'clock chatting about life, about things. But anyway, on the way that day, there used to be a panwala. I remember, I think it was just before the Pedder Road flyover on the left. And used to those days have a lot of pan. So he stopped. And all the panwalas obviously knew that he had arrived and he would arrive, and pan would be, and he had to have a bundle. So he used to make 6, 8, 10 pans. So he pulled down the window and he said whatever his name was, Are Ramesh? So he said, Haji, and started making fun. So while we were talking, suddenly there was silence. We would stop talking, and suddenly I heard the Panwala tell someone else who was standing there, Are, ye Ram Kapoor ke father hai. Anil looked at me ke sala, when he tells me, Sala, kya zamana aa gaya yaar. आजकल मेरा नाम डालो मेरे बेटे के नाम से देते हैं.
But Arvind, he was very proud of it, yaar. I remember he's repeated the story to all of us.
Yes,
he was so proud of it. He was so proud of it.
Then he said on the way, he said, yaar, उस लड़के ने ना जो किया है, I'm just so proud of him. On the way, then the next 1 hour was story about Ram and how what he was doing and all that he was. So it was, just phenomenal.
No, but you have to, thank you. I appreciate this, but you have to understand, I found out the details of all this only after I have lost him, because till he was alive, I was the biggest mistake that happened on this planet. That was repeated to me for all my life. Only after he is gone did I realize these things.
But
I must also tell a story.
May
I tell a story?
Yes, please.
Okay. One such trip, Anil and Ram were traveling to UK together in the same flight. I think Ram was going for Z Awards, and I don't know what Anil was going for. And so Ram was in business class and Anil was in first class. This is what I've been told. And when they got off the flight, Anil is telling him proudly, come after me. I'll take you through fast track. That time we didn't have the fast track cards. So they both go on the fast track, and as they want to turn towards immigration, the Indian lady tells Anil, please wait, very sternly, because there was queue over there. And Anil felt very offended because no one tells him these things, And suddenly the old lady saw Ram at the back and said, Aap inke saath hain? So Ram said, yes. Then she said, Aap ja sakte. So Anil didn't know which way to look.
So good. So on this note, we will bring
ask Jayan Bhai to say a few words.
Yeah, Jayan Bhai is there. Yes, Jayan Bhai, please, Jayan Bhai.
Jayan Bhai, please. Sir, you're on mute, sir.
So much, respected Rita ma'am, Ram Kapoor ji, Rohit, Shashi bhai, Nitin bhai, Ambi ji, entire team. First of all, let me congratulate Ritu for this honor. I think everyone in Ulka actually deserves this award, because you all are representatives of what Mr. Kapoor stood for. But selecting Ritu for this honor is actually exceptional. And we really value the association we've had for all these decades. And really, it is an inspiring thing. I joined Amul in 1991. And as MD Sodhi sir mentioned, Amulya was the account which Ulka was handling at that time. And I joined as a product officer for Amulya. So my career depended on Amulya, and Dhruv, you are there here. Dhruv was the account executive there, and Shashi bhai, Nitin and all were there, and we were all struggling to build this brand from maybe 500,000 tons a year to 2,000, 5,000, 8,000, 10,000, and God knows what volumes we are getting today. But the efforts which Ulka team put in a very, very small and nascent brand is amazing, commendable, and then the rest we did in media and all after the consolidation is history. So thank you all for your contribution to the brand Amul. And also to what Ritu and team led by Shashi bhai, Nandini ji and all have been doing for the media part of Amul. And as Sodhi Saab said, जो रुपए की extra value को derive करना, तो उसमें एक्चुअली रितु की भी कोई गलती नहीं है, क्योंकि हमारे बॉस हैं वो डेसिमल के इस तरफ से ही शुरू करते हैं. डेसिमल के राइट साइड पे 1, 2, 3 होता है, वो 0.00 से ही शुरू करते हैं. तो फिर हमारा सभी चीज जो करना होता है वो 0, 2 पैसे 3 पैसे. सो उतने हमने मैट्रिक्स डिराइव किए कि प्रिंट टाइम्स में लेना है तो 2 पैसे पर कॉपी, किसी में लेना है तो 1 पैसे पर कॉपी, टीवी में करना है तो इसे फेसबुक डिजिटल सब में हमने 0 के डेसिमल के इस तरह से काम करना शुरू किया. And thankfully, things have been working well. The creative power of Ulka, we should acknowledge, as much as Dekuna has been leveraged through the media. And I think we are seeing a commendable results and performance as a team. The entire thing is delivering so well. And I'll just end up with a quote. I'm sure you read the comment of Jala Sahab. mother superior. Okay, so Ritu is not with Amul for last 18 years, but internally in our system since time immemorial. Congratulations, Ritu. All the best, and wish you all more success in the years to come. Thank you.
If I may use this opportunity to tell the entire audience of 200 odd people that Jain Bhai has been promoted as CEO of the Federation as of yesterday. And we are very, very proud and thrilled to see the way he's grown, as you said, from 91 to now. Very proud, sir.
Thank you so much. And my thanks, please give thanks. I mean, I thank my boss and please give credit to him for that.
That we know that. So thank you, everyone. Firstly, thank you to the family, Rita and Ram, for taking time out and helping us cherish this. And, you know, we are very fond of boss, as you know, and we will keep going with this. Thank you, Sodhi Saab and Jain Bhai, for joining in for this special occasion, taking out your time. Thanks a lot to my friends, first and colleagues, Nitin, Ambi, Arvind, and the others. And there are two special people we want to thank, and maybe most people will not know. Rita, you may not know this. Savita thought of this idea. She's the architect of this idea, so you must give her a special thank. And
thank you, Savita.
And really want to thank Rohit, because Rohit has come from outside. He hardly knows boss, but he has understood and believed in the culture with boss set up. I think that one night from Nitin's house when boss spent 7 hours with him in the wee hours of the morning, has, you know, he's understood the culture. So really, really creditworthy. And I'm saying it genuinely with affection that Rohit, having coming from outside, has imbibed the culture. He wholeheartedly, not only did he agree to the ceremony and this award for eternity, but the fact that he has imbibed a lot of what Anil is, and you need someone that Ulka that way. And Ulka is obviously flourishing even more with Rohit there. So thanks a lot, Rohit, for doing this for us. Thank you, everyone, for taking time out. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
you.
Nitin Karkare as well.
Thank you.
Nitin, I take for granted. Nitin, you know, Nitin, if you go for such a long time, that would
I don't take it for granted.
Part for the purse.
So Shashi, there's a whole bunch of people actually.
Yes.
So
You
there's
thank them.
Harry, there's Rajdat Ranade, there's so many people that actually made this happen. So I think they all need to be acknowledged. The team at Kinect that helped us with the AV. So a big thank you to everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thank
Ram.
you.